This morning, Biden's farewell before he leaves office, his warning for the nation.
Plus, local leaders are preparing for the incoming administration. Hear how they plan to protect the immigrant community. Good morning and welcome to News 3 Now this morning on a Thursday. I'm Kyrie Lee.
I'm Chris Stanford. Thank you so much for joining us. Warmer temperatures out there. We do want to take a look at the roads. The Wisconsin 511 road conditions map does show a lot of blue out there. That means partially covered roadways. We didn't get a whole lot of accumulation overnight. So we're just something we're keeping an eye on. We do want to check in with meteorologist Savannah Brito, who's got a better look at what's going on out there and what you can expect this morning. Hey there.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, we didn't see a lot of accumulating snow, but just take it easy. Maybe I would say allow an extra 5 minutes for that because there are a couple of areas that are slick this morning. But all the snow on radar, you can see that's up near Sheboygan and Manitowoc, well to our northeast. We're not really going to be talking about accumulating snow at this point anymore. Few flurries maybe, and that's mainly going to be to areas confined up near where it's snowing, Sheboygan, Manitowoc, basically far to our northeast early this morning. We will, however, stick with mostly cloudy skies, some clearing late this afternoon into the early evening, and temperatures really warming up. We're talking about the mid-30s today, which is above average. We'll talk about how long the warm-up lasts and when you can expect much colder air that's on its way.
Sounds good. We're going to get to some headlines this morning, folks. President Joe Biden gave his farewell address last night after more than 50 years in federal politics. In the face of low approval ratings, Biden touted his record as president.
He pointed to major legislation tackling gun reform and infrastructure. The president listed accomplishments involving economics, healthcare, and diplomacy. The president also warned the country about his concerns for the future.
Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights and freedoms, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead.
He closed his speech by expressing love for the country. He has been a leader in Washington since being elected to the Senate at 29 years old.
Biden's address came hours after the announcement that a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas had been reached. It's a glimmer of hope after nearly 15 months of bloodshed. The three-phase plan begins Sunday. In that plan, Hamas would gradually release the first of 33 hostages over 6 weeks, women, children, the sick, and men over 50. In exchange, Israel will release more than 1,000 Palestinians from Israeli prisons, ending eventually with the release of all hostages. Israeli pulling out of Gaza and the focus shifting to reconstruction. Dalia Saba participated in the protests at UW-Madison. She says she has family who are displaced because of the war.
So many people have been displaced. My own family was forced to evacuate, and they were lucky to evacuate, but their homes were destroyed. While we can celebrate the fact that a ceasefire would mean no more people would be killed in theory, in practice that might look different.
Late last night, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the deal, though, is not complete. According to Israeli officials, the two sides are still working on confirming the list of Palestinians to be released. Although this deal was developed under the Biden administration, it will be carried out by the incoming Trump administration. The president-elect is crediting his transition for getting the agreement over the line.
Dane County leaders are preparing for the incoming Trump administration. They say their focus is on changes in immigration policy that could begin as soon as Monday. Dane County Executive Melissa Agard and District Attorney Ishmael Ozan say that regardless of status, county residents should continue to engage with law enforcement without fear of removal from their community. The DA also differentiated his office from federal agencies. He says the promise of streamlined deportations could make justice harder to come by.
A collateral consequence of mass deportations is the creation of a pathway for violent offenders who are facing serious criminal charges to evade accountability. It could be, in a sense, a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Dane County's Office of Immigration Affairs has been in place since 2017. It launched less than a month into Trump's first presidential term as a response to the climate toward the immigrant community. If you have immigration-related needs, you can find resources on our website, channel3000.com.
Meanwhile, in Milwaukee, dozens of people gathering outside a proposed location for an ICE processing center. It comes after the building that held an existing ICE office was sold. That building only processed immigrants. It did not hold them. A spokesperson for ICE says there are no ICE detention facilities listed or planned for the location in question, but many people in the community feel skeptical with an incoming Trump administration, raising fears on what the building could develop into.
I feel enraged, confused, in shock. They say one thing, right? They're just moving it. I mean, we don't know what ICE really stands for in regards to what they do behind closed doors. So I don't trust them.
The Milwaukee mayor says they are justified for their concern, but the city hasn't seen any issues with the existing facility. Attorney General Josh Kaul, meantime, says they are prepared to act if the rights of people of Wisconsin are violated.
A new report says secrecy surrounding Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's hospitalization in 2023 led to increased risk of national security. The report comes from the Pentagon's Inspector General. The IG made 20 recommendations for improvement. Those include expanding the number of people involved in the decision-making of similar situations and enhancing the flow of information in the Defense Department across agencies.
Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani will be in court this morning. A New York judge will determine just which assets he has to give up to two Georgia election workers to satisfy a $148 million defamation judgment. The pair sued him for destroying their reputations by lying that they tried to steal the 2020 election. He will appear in front of the same judge who found him in contempt last week.
The FDA is proposing a limit on nicotine levels in items like cigarettes and cigars. Studies have shown that lower amounts of nicotine can help people smoke less and in some cases quit altogether. The proposal calls for capping nicotine to 0.7 milligrams per gram of tobacco. Comments from the public can be made over the next few months. Officials say the finalization process for the rule could take years to complete.
Meanwhile, in the state, the Department of Health Services is sharing some information about the impact of menthol in tobacco products. Each year, 7,900 Wisconsinites die from tobacco use. State Health Officer Paula Tran says if menthol were not available in our state, over 17,000 people would quit smoking.
We know that menthol also increases long-term addiction because it makes it harder to quit tobacco, and it also enhances nicotine's impact on the brain. And in general, smoking contributes to many harmful health effects, including to our top 3 causes of death nationally.
Tran also mentioned that advertising and menthol use disproportionately affects African-American communities. If you're trying to quit smoking, there are some resources. You can call the County Quit line, that is 800-784-2669, or you could text READY to 3419 or visit wiquitline.org.
In more local news this morning, an 18-year-old man is recovering after being shot on Madison's east side. Police say they found him last Friday with a gunshot wound to the leg. 2 young family members were at the home on Windstone Drive at the time. Police say they think the shooting is likely an accident. A K-9 unit searched near the apartment but did not find a weapon. The incident remains under investigation.
Well, you still have time to win a pair of Restaurant Week bucks. They're worth $60 at some local restaurants, and you can use them next week during Restaurant Week. Enter by heading to the website on your screen.
And if you can't wait until next week to participate in Madison's Restaurant Week, you can still check out Janesville Restaurant Week. This lasts until tomorrow, but restaurants may extend their menus to include Saturday. You can head to downtownjanesville.com for more information.
6:08, checking in with Savannah Brito in that first one forecast. Hey there.
Weekend definitely is going to be cold, especially when you factor in those wind chills. We'll talk about exactly how low those are going to go Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
And we're working for the weekend in the 608 this morning. I'll have 3 things for you to do with the family.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
We're back here at 612. A team of UW-Madison researchers discovered a new species of dinosaur in Wyoming. In 2013, UW's geology team headed out west to the Pupuzza area of Red Rock. There they found a hip and an ankle bone close to the size of a human thumb. Scientists say the dinosaurs would have stood a little over a foot tall and 3 feet long from head to toe. Researchers dated the bones back some 230 million years.
But now we know it's the oldest dinosaur in the northern hemisphere that has a definitive date. So a lot of our work is really helping to build the story of this earlier time period in the late Triassic, which hasn't really been known for North America.
Fascinating. When it came to naming the dinosaur, the team connected with the Shoshone tribe whose lands the bones were found on. They came up with the name Uvadam Bondavici. This closely translates to long ago dinosaur.
Is that what? Are you sure that's what it is?
That's exactly how you pronounce
I
it.
was going to say, I don't know if that pronouncer looked like that.
Uvadam Bondavici.
Avatum
Uvadam Bondavici. That's what I said every time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
E for effort.
Hey, who's that?
Close enough. Close enough.
You hear who's back, everybody. Josh Spreiter. Tan Josh Spreiter back from Florida on vacation. Talking about what's going on in the 608 this weekend.
That's right, Josh. What's going on?
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, I tried to pack up my suitcase with some of that heat, and I think I failed. But we're going to have a good weekend anyways, and I have 3 things for you to do this weekend in the 608. Of course, activities are in full swing for us leading up to this morning. Let's see what we got going on. The Edgewater Ice Rink now open for the season, and the views of Madison do not get any better than this, folks. The cold weather we've had has been great for ice making. The Edgewater Ice Rink is now open Wednesdays through Fridays. You can look at specific times to get tickets, along with skate rental options on their website. Well, if you're looking for an indoor event, check out the Madison Roller Derby at the Alliant Energy Center on Saturday. They'll have a doubleheader, which will feature the home team and the interleague play at the arena. Doors open at 4. The first whistle is at 5 o'clock, and you can get your tickets now by going to the Madison Roller Derby website. Finally, don't forget to support your local farmers for the late winter Dane County Farmers Market at the Garver Feed Mill on Saturday morning. You can support 50 of your favorite farmers, cheesemakers, and bakers from 8 to noon. That market runs each Saturday through April 5th. Well, for more ideas this weekend in the 608, just go to channel3000.com. I know a lot of the local ice rinks have opened up within the last week because the ice is great. I know we've had all this cold weather, which is like, meh. But it's nice to see that, you know, a lot of those winter activities are in full swing. We just need some snow. I know Kyra's going to roll her eyes. You know, when you think about like the cross-country skiing, you look a lot of the local ski hills, they need the snow.
Yeah, they do. You know, there are people that need the snow. It's just not me.
I just like how it looks. I mean, things look so much prettier here when you got a nice blanket of snow on it.
It is
And
nice.
my thing is if it's going to be cold, we might as well have the snow.
But not
Why
that
not?
cold. Because
Not
that's
that
when it
cold.
starts freezing over.
I know.
And then, yeah.
We don't want that.
But, you know, there's still a lot to do this weekend if you want to get out and about. So
Yeah.
there it is.
And indoor stuff too.
Yes, which I like to see.
There you go.
Thanks, buddy.
You
Thanks,
bet.
Josh.
All right, yeah, if you're making those weekend plans, we got 2 tales of what's going on this weekend. Savannah Rito here to break down your forecast for you. Hey there.
Yeah, hey, good morning, Josh. Definitely needs to share some of that tan because we're not talking about tan or warm weather at all. It'll be mild today and tomorrow, but not as nice as what we hope to see, at least some of us. 28 in Madison, so temperatures are off to a much, much better start already this morning. We have several 30s too. 30 in Middleton, how about 31 in Sauk City? And even warmer temperatures, a couple of us at freezing level this morning. Black River Falls and up near La Crosse, both of those places at 32. Temperatures will continue to warm. We'll top out in the mid-30s today. A couple areas maybe even see 35, 36, 37. We'll be closer to that, a better chance on Friday, as we'll be close to 40. Our average high 27, 20 on Saturday, and then the downward trend only 0. That's by next Monday, and a couple areas probably not even going to reach that. They'll stay sub-zero all day long. When you factor in the wind chills, that's why we have the alert days in place. Could be as low as -30. That's all across southern Wisconsin. The alert days Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Wednesday we'll finally be seeing a little bit of better weather, but this is one of our models showing exactly how low the temperature, at least wind chill, not air temperature, could go at 6 a.m. on Monday morning, and that's one of the coldest mornings. -28 in Madison. You can see surrounding areas are actually going to be cooler. Winnipeg, northwest of here, close to -40. So all that cool air that's been building up northwest of here finally makes its way here. Enjoy the 2 warmer days while we have them. 4, 0, 6 Sunday through Tuesday, and look at the overnight lows. Those are definitely going to be sub-zero those nights, with the wind chill though much, much lower.
Wisconsin women's hockey is starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. They're closing in on another WCHA regular season title, and the playoffs are right around the corner. The only issue is that they've got 5 series to play before it's time for the postseason. And as much as they want the playoffs to be here, the Badgers know right now it's time to finish strong.
We have 10 regular season games left, and the goal is to have 10 wins going into playoffs. I obviously am getting excited for playoff season, but can't skip out on these 10 games. They're just as important as any other games, and that's going to be a big mindset going into this weekend.
When you think of the Mount Rushmore of Wisconsin running backs, obviously Ron Dayne is up there. But Monte Ball is not far behind him. The former Badger running back rewrote the record books during his time in Madison, and now the 2-time consensus first-team All-American is headed to the college football's Hall of Fame as a member of the class of 2025. And Ball becomes the 13th Badger player enshrined in the Hall of Fame. Well, Tuesday night wasn't as easy as it appeared it was going to be after 20 minutes of basketball. At halftime, Wisconsin led by 17 points. When it was all said and done, the Badgers beat the Buckeyes by just 2. But as they say, a win's a win, and this one was win number 200 for Greg Gard, a milestone reached by only 3 other Badger men's basketball coaches. And in true Gard fashion, he thanked everyone who helped him along the way.
Not about me. My name goes with it, but I've had terrific players, the current ones, the ones that have been here for the last 9 years, terrific coaches with me. I got a phenomenal staff right now, support system. So there's just a lot of people that help put me in this position, and it's a lot of people that should go on that 200.
And just a reminder to check out this week's Wisconsin Huddle. Kamara McGee stopped by to talk all things Badger men's basketball, plus fashion, and his roommates. Show airs on Friday at 6:30 right here on News 3 Now. And UW-Platteville showed why they're the top-ranked team in Division III, beating Eau Claire to stay perfect in conference play. Logan Pearson led the way for the Pioneers with 31 points, and in the process became the school's all-time leading scorer. And that's it for morning sports. Have a great day.
Still ahead, ready, set, sculpt. The clock is ticking for the World Snow Sculpting Championships.
We're back right after this.
6:23, this photo's from Gwen. She says it's the wolf moon seen in the morning, and she even got that barn off to the side just for Chris.
That's right. Love me a good barn.
Good old Wisconsin barn.
So Wisconsin.
It looks like the license plate, right?
It does.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
I don't know if I paid that close attention. Is that on the license plate?
Close
Yeah,
enough.
you get a little farm scene.
Yeah.
A little sailboat.
I just put it on the car. I did not look that close.
My dad put mine on.
All right. Thank you, Gwen. You know what I like. Well, trending this morning, the World Snow Sculpting Championships are going on right now. Check this out. 12 teams from 12 different countries all competing in Stillwater, Minnesota this week. Here we go. The competition involves crafting massive, complex designs all out of snow. I hear they like really cold temperature. It makes the snow easier to work with. So the team representing Wisconsin is called Sculptura Borealis.
Nice.
The deadline for teams to compete their sculptures is this Saturday at 4 p.m.
I'm always amazed by these. Like the talent it takes. I mean, I can build a snowman that looks rougher than all get out, but that's so cool.
A true artistry here. And a beautiful area to do it, too.
Oh, big time.
They're talented.
It was marker that they were using.
Yeah,
Very cool.
to kind of guide out
Lines.
the areas that they're going to remove.
Yeah.
Really impressive. I want to follow up on this and see what they come up with.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Cat Cafe in Los Angeles is offering some free cat cuddles to help relieve stress during the wildfires. It's called Crumbs and Whiskers. They rescue cats and kittens from euthanasia at high kill shelters and then house them in the cafe where they can get more familiar with humans. People are encouraged to play with them to make them more comfortable and friendly so that one day they can be adopted. One guest said it's a great way to take their mind off the fires. I don't know how they're getting anything done out there and how anybody can think of anything else with those fires going on.
I know.
I mean, it's just it's surrounding them. So, you know, just to see something like this is lighthearted.
Yeah, they need to open more of those across the country.
Yeah, really.
We need one in Madison.
We don't deserve our furry friends.
We
It's
don't.
amazing the break
do
that
not.
you can get with them every single day.
Yeah, so cute. But
Instantly lift your mood.
Definitely. Well, our temperatures, those are on the downward trend as early as Saturday, but we have a couple of warmer days ahead. Enjoy the 40 while we have it, because look at the high on Monday, 0 degrees, and there's a good chance people don't even make it up to 0. The alert days, because the cold, the wind chills could be as low as -30. So we'll all be bundled.
Break out the shorts on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
This morning, 1 month later, where the investigation stands into the Abundant Life Christian school shooting and what's next for teachers in the community.
Plus, President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet picks testify on Capitol Hill. Hear from the nominees, including one all-Wisconsin exchange.
A good Thursday morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now this morning. I'm Chris Stanford.
And I'm Kyrie Unley. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. If you're headed out the door, feels a lot better than it did yesterday morning. In my opinion, it didn't make me just cringe walking out the door this morning.
A little bit easier to wake up and head outside. Temperatures are warm. We're also keeping our eye on Wisconsin's 511 road conditions map. You can see that just about all the state, with the exception of the Milwaukee and Racine area. All in blue, that means partially covered roads, although we didn't really see much accumulation, if any, overnight by the way of any snow. Let's check in with Savannah Brito to get you up to speed on what to expect when you step out the door. Hey, Savannah.
Hey, good morning, guys. This is a loop over the last 12 hours. I put it a little bit further back just to show that snow did start yesterday about 6:30 when it was expected northwest of Madison. Some of that didn't make its way to the ground, and we really didn't get much of an accumulation, but still those slick spots mainly northwest of Madison. When I was driving into work across Dane County, it wasn't that bad. There wasn't a lot of slick spots, but we still do have some flurries. That's what's current right now, so most of that northeast of here, kind of even east of the Sheboygan and Manitowoc areas, even southeast of there. So we're not really talking about anything else. Definitely no additional accumulations. We really only had trace amounts, if that. 28 is where we sit in Madison. So we're already off to a better start early this morning. That's everyone across southern Wisconsin, but that will quickly change. We'll talk about the alert days and the dangerous cold in the forecast.
Yeah, folks, if you want to get ahead of those alert days and those conditions, just download the free First Warn weather app wherever you get yours. Now to concerns over a so-called burn list compiled by Beaver Dam High School students.
School officials say there is no credible threat associated with the list. In a statement sent to News 3 Now, district officials say the term burn list is related to a TikTok challenge. The trend references a resolution to make a list of things to let go of. The purpose is to release negative emotions associated with the people, places, or things on the list and then burn it. Administrators say they have identified the students who created and distributed the list.
The Beaver Dam superintendent said in a statement, recent events in our own state have and should provide a grounding reminder and expectation that any and all threats or perceived threats must always be taken very seriously. Any student found to be involved will face significant disciplinary action in accordance with our school policies and be referred to law enforcement.
Today marks 1 month since the deadly shooting at Abundant Life Christian School, and Madison police say there's still a long road ahead in the investigation. The department is still working to determine a motive. Detectives are reviewing troves of evidence, including documents and social media posts, and conducting interviews. They are also issuing subpoenas to tech companies for more evidence, and once they receive those items, it will take even more time to go through it.
And the shooting is leading to some pretty difficult conversations among teachers across Madison. Teachers' unions are leading that effort. Our Ellie LaLiberte reports.
Even though we're a city of almost 300,000 people, we're still very much operating like a very small community.
Michael Jones is the president of Madison Teachers Incorporated.
I think an injury to one is an injury to all.
He sees how the ALCS shooting is impacting educators across Madison.
Just feeling like we missed something, in terms of avoiding that tragedy.
Now he sees need for change.
We're going to have to really push for some serious, not just local community solutions, but some state and federal solutions to have better systems so that people's needs can be met, so we're not just waiting or reacting to the next terrible shooting or tragedy.
He says to prevent violence in schools, change needs to come in multiple different forms, like policy reform and support for mental health programs.
Our union has been certainly sounding the alarm on these school safety issues for quite a long time.
The statewide teachers union president, Peggy Wartz Olson, agrees saying teachers should be heard.
Educators need to be at the table as part of the solutions in these conversations because they are deeply impacted and they're responsible for classrooms of students all across the state.
And that's where our kind of advocacy is going into, is like, make sure you're taking care of yourself.
Putting mental health at the forefront.
It wears you down, but also you can build connections with people who are kind of feeling that same way.
Reporting in Madison, Ellie Liberté, News 3 Now.
If you'd like to help those impacted by the shooting, you can still do so. You can text HELP for ALCS to 40403. This will connect you with the United Way of Dane County's fundraiser. Chocolate Shop Ice Cream Shop also raising some money. This Sunday, all 9 of the Chocolate Shop locations in Madison will donate 50% of their revenue. Noodles & Company will hold a similar fundraiser next Thursday.
The Leinenkugel family is trying to buy one of its breweries back in Chippewa Falls. Coors, which makes Leinenkugel's beer, is looking to close the facility. The Leinenkugels released a statement reading in part, quote, "The Chippewa Falls Brewery is more than a facility. It is a symbol of our legacy, a source of pride for the community, and a key part of what makes Leinenkugels unique." The brewery has operated in Chippewa Falls for more than 150 years and is set to close tomorrow. Coors is not showing interest in selling it back. Barring any changes, 56 people will lose their jobs.
Happening today, the state Supreme Court will hear oral arguments on a case involving legislative authority. The case originated after a Republican committee rejected a state agency rule that would ban conversion therapy. The Joint Committee for the Review of Administrative Rules twice blocked a conversion therapy ban. The defense, led by Senator Howard Marklines, as a 1992 court ruling, upholds the legislature's ability to suspend state agency rules. However, Governor Evers, who brought the case forward, says the Constitution reserves that power for the executive branch. A ruling is expected in the coming months.
To Washington now, where Attorney General nominee Pam Bondi will return for another day of testimony. The former Florida Attorney General sat for the first day of her confirmation hearings yesterday. Throughout his campaign, President-elect Donald Trump said he'd seek retribution against his political opponents. He has included those who investigated his role in the January 6th insurrection. Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee asked about that in the first day of hearings.
Ms. Bondi, is Jack Smith one of those bad prosecutors that you will prosecute as AG?
Senator, you hesitated a bit when I said the bad ones. Every decision
Sometimes
will be
badness
made
in the eyes of the beholder. I'm just asking whether you would consider Jack Smith,
Senator,
to be one of the people. How about Liz Cheney?
Senator,
how about Merrick Garland?
I am not going to answer hypotheticals. No one has been prejudged.
Bondi did say the Justice Department would not prosecute anyone for political purposes under her leadership.
Well, another of the many confirmation hearings taking place in Washington involves the nomination of Secretary of Transportation. Sean Duffy, the former congressman from Wisconsin, sat before the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation. And another Wisconsin touch, Senator Tammy Baldwin, a member of that committee. She had this exchange with the nominee.
How will the department, under your leadership, work to improve access to air travel for those with disabilities, including our nation's veterans?
My daughter, who you've all met, she has Down syndrome. We'll deal with our own set of challenges with her, but making sure that people who have disabilities have access to all modes of transportation, I think, is critically important.
And here's what to expect from hearings today. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, the nominee for UN ambassador, will testify this morning. Lee Zeldin and Eric Turner, nominees for EPA administrator and HUD secretary respectively, will also sit for hearings. Those begin at 10 this morning. At 10:15, Attorney General nominee Pam Bondi will appear for another day of hearings.
In Southern California this morning, fire crews are hoping to make some more headway in stamping out the wildfires. Forecasters expect calmer winds over the next few days, but there's a new focus on how those fires started and what the fire departments had on hand. CBS News has confirmed that as the Palisades fire started on January 7th, 19 fire engines were pre-deployed to the area. It's unclear how many, if any, were sent to the first neighborhood on fire.
I can guarantee you that every resource that was available was working and focused on the mission.
It's the actions that we take prior to that wind event ever starting that are going to make the most difference.
Federal and state law enforcement officials are also making an effort to combat crime stemming from the wildfires. These alleged crimes include price gouging and looting.
One popular Midwest business is helping pitch in to help people affected by the fires. Kroger is hoping to raise over $1 million for the cause. For the rest of this month, customers at Kroger-owned supermarkets, which include Pick and Save and Metro Market, can round up their purchases to donate. Proceeds will go to the American Red Cross. We also have a link to do so from our website. You can just click that banner at the top of our website, channel3000.com.
All right, now to some new numbers from the TSA. They're on firearms found at airport checkpoints. Take a look at this. They found nearly 6,700 firearms at checkpoints in 2024. That's around the same number as the year prior. At the Dane County Regional Airport, though, that number is 6 in 2024, up from 4 the year prior. Milwaukee had 16 instances last year, down from 19 in 2023. The TSA is reminding travelers about the rules. Firearms have to go into check bags, not carry-ons. They also have to be in a locked, hard-sided container, separate from ammunition, and you have to declare it at check-in. Those who do not take these steps could face criminal charges.
The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources is asking anglers to help prevent the spread of an invasive species. The DNR says all fishermen should empty their bait buckets and fish containers on site before leaving their fishing spot. Doing so can reduce the risk of diseases and small species like water fleas and zebra mussel larvae from spreading. The DNR adds that anglers should not dispose of unwanted bait in a lake or river, and worms should be thrown away in a closed container in the trash.
Make sure you toss those worms out.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a while since I've been fishing, so yeah.
Great, same here. All right, 6:40. Let's check in with Savannah and what's coming up. Hey there.
Hey guys, temperatures are actually going to be in the mid-30s today and even 40 Friday, but then there's a big cool down. We'll have those details coming up.
And we're working for the weekend in the 608 this morning. I'll have 3 things for you to do with the family just ahead.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
We're back at 6:44. We're taking a live look at the Wisconsin DOT's road conditions map. As you can see here, we see mostly blue out there this morning, meaning the roads are partially covered, except for a few pockets of green that you may see there in the southeast. But otherwise, things looking blue, so just take it easy out there this morning. We didn't see a lot of impact overnight, but if you are headed out the door, you just may want to take things a little bit easy.
Yeah, my drive in this morning was pretty smooth. Yeah, some folks did get a little bit of snow last night, overnight. Let's check in with meteorologist Savannah Brito. She's been tracking everything, including some of those temperatures. This is that break from the super cold, those really chilly temperatures that we've been under. So what's today looking like?
Yeah, we had super cold weather to start the week, and now we're on the upswing of things before we track cool days and alert days because of the dangerous cold. We did see a little bit of snow, like we said, slick spots, a few of those out there. Take it easy, but 34 is our high, and we're already off to a really warm start. All of us in the 20s, even mainly west of Madison and also northwest, we have warmer temperatures that are staying close to 30 degrees, even close to freezing level. We'll warm into the mid-30s. At least a couple areas, maybe even seeing the upper 30s this afternoon. 40 on Friday, our average 27. So both of those days will be well above average, but then we'll be well below average, the opposite side of things. Saturday, we're down to 20. It's not terrible. 4 though on Sunday and 0 Monday, likely going to have some areas that don't even make it up to 0 and stay sub-0 all day long. Our morning wind chills, those are going to be as low potentially as -30. That's why we have the alert days in the forecast. Sunday and more specifically Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday mornings, those are going to be the coldest mornings all across southern Wisconsin. That cold air right now, all that Arctic air northwest and north of here across Canada, eventually that slides down to us. This is just one of our models. Monday at 6 a.m. Not the air temperature, but the wind chill. That's what it could feel like outside, close to -30 degrees. We will luckily be talking about warmer air after that, so it's not going to settle in for that long, but we do have cold days Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, 4, 0, and 6. Those are the highs those days. And like I mentioned, nighttime temperatures, those actual air temperatures get sub-0, -2 Saturday night, Sunday night, -9, and -10 Monday. We see improvements though, where we get back to the end of the 10-day forecast into the teens during the night, in the 20s and even 30s. So we won't see the cold last that long, but it is going to be dangerous and can lead to frostbite within as little as 10 minutes. So if anyone has to be out and about, definitely bundle up.
All right. Thanks for the warning. Let's talk about what's going on in the 608 this weekend.
That's right. Our Josh Sprider is back with us for a look at the weekend planner. Josh, good morning.
Hey, good morning, you two. So I have 3 things for you to do this weekend in the 608. Let's get right to it. Of course, winter activities are in full swing, and that's what leads us off this morning. The Edgewater Ice Rink now open for all this season. And the views of Madison don't get any better than this, folks. The cold weather we've had has been great for ice making. The Edgewater Ice Rink is now open Wednesdays through Fridays. You can look at specific times to get tickets, along with skate rental options on their website. Well, if you're looking for an indoor event, I know that's what Kyrion prefers. You can check out the Madison Roller Derby at the Alliant Energy Center on Saturday. They'll have a doubleheader, which will feature the home team and interleague play at the arena. Doors open at 4. The first whistle's at 5, and you can get your tickets now by going to the Madison Roller Derby website. Finally, don't forget to support your local farmers for the late winter Dane County Farmers Market at the Garver Feed Mill on Saturday morning. You can support 50 of your favorite farmers, cheesemakers, and bakers from 8 to noon. The market runs each Saturday through April 5th. For more ideas this weekend in the 608, just go to channel3000.com. If you've never been to the Garver Feed Mill, it's really special there in a lot of ways, but especially this time of the year it's cold.
Right.
But you have the sun shining through the windows. It makes it feel like you're in kind of a tropical oasis.
Tropical oasis.
That's really descriptive.
Our
It's nice
Garver
and
Feed
warm
Mill.
in there. Yes. You can support local farmers.
You can
and
see
then
that's their new tagline.
Yeah, there you go.
Madison's Tropical Oasis.
Hey, you
Just,
might be onto something.
Credit me for that one.
You might be onto something.
I know exactly what you mean, though.
Yes.
It does certainly help.
It's like, it gives us a little bit of a break, and it kind of makes us feel like normal until you have to go to your car.
Yeah,
And
so those indoor activities, that's what I like.
Yeah.
I mean, the Madison Roller Derby sounds like a good time, too.
Something different, something fun, yeah.
There's always something going on, which is what I love about this community.
Hey.
Never a shortage of things.
Never get bored.
No.
Josh is back from vacation, so he needs a fresh slew of ideas.
Yes.
So if you've got one for him, now is the time to reach out, email him, or hit him up on social media for a chance to be featured.
Well, to some health news this morning, there are new recommendations to measure obesity. It may be welcome news for some people previously classified as obese. A report published in the journal Lancet Diabetes Endocrinology focuses more on body fat and medical issues. This is instead of just using BMI or body mass index, which links a person's weight to their height. Doctors would look more closely into how a patient's organs are working before a diagnosis.
What we're trying to do is use still the BMI as a first pass screening tool, but then really drill down on who is at risk for medical complications from being overweight or obese.
If the guidelines are widely adopted, it's expected some doctors may treat fewer people for obesity.
Well, the Alzheimer's Association says nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with dementia. And a new study projects those numbers are going to skyrocket over the next few decades. Researchers say by 2060, more than 2 in 5 adults over the age of 55 in the U.S. will develop dementia in their later years. The study's lead author says their dementia risk projections are twice as high as previous studies. This means about 1 million people a year will be diagnosed with dementia by 2060.
There's this baby boom generation that is coming to sort of reaching that age where dementia is much more common, right? And this is a big cohort of individuals. So the country getting older is the big driving factor.
Researchers say the trend can be curbed, though, with nationwide policy changes aimed at early prevention and detection.
Coming up in the morning sprint, we'll tell you about the FDA ban of a common food coloring.
If you got a little kiddo turning 3 soon, send us a picture. We'll show it on TV. The morning sprint's right after this. 6:54, time for the morning sprint.
School officials at Beaver Dam High School are responding to concerns over a so-called burn list from some students. School officials say there is no credible threat associated with the list. In a statement sent to News 3 Now, district officials say the term burn list is related to a TikTok challenge. Administrators say they have identified the students who created and distributed the list.
Today marks 1 month since the deadly shooting at Abundant Life Christian School. Madison police continue to work on determining a motive. Detectives are reviewing troves of evidence, including documents and social media posts, and conducting interviews. They're also issuing subpoenas to tech companies for more evidence.
President Joe Biden is warning of what he considers an oligarchy taking shape in America. He made that case in a farewell address to the nation from the Oval Office last night. Biden also used the speech to tout major legislative wins in infrastructure and the economy. Counting today, the president has 4 more full days in the office.
In the Middle East, a ceasefire deal is in place between Israel and Hamas, pending some final approval and some details, though. The deal has a couple of phases. Phase 1 would last 42 days. Hamas would release 33 hostages, including women, the sick, and elderly. In exchange, Israel would set free dozens of Palestinian detainees for each hostage. Israel would also pull back to Gaza's perimeters, and humanitarian aid would once again start flowing.
Happening today, the Wisconsin Supreme Court will hear oral arguments on a case involving legislative authority. The case originated after a Republican committee rejected a state agency rule that would ban conversion therapy. The Joint Committee for the Review of Administrative Rules twice blocked a ban. A ruling is expected in the coming months.
The FDA is banning red dye 3 from the U.S. food supply. The dye can be found in foods including some candies and maraschino cherries, as well as supplements and oral medications. Red 3 was banned from cosmetics 35 years ago because of a potential cancer risk. Food manufacturers now have until 2027 to remove dye from their products. Drug makers have until 2028.
If you can spend some time outdoors either today or definitely tomorrow, do so, because very cold days are ahead of us. 3 alert days Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, with wind chills potentially reaching about negative 30 degrees at times. Our actual air temperatures Saturday, Sunday, and Monday nights, those will be sub-zero.
Okay, so really dangerous cold out there.
Yes, you can get frostbite in as little as about 10 minutes. So bundle up, leave no skin exposed.
All right, Savannah, thank you so much.
We're back in 30 minutes with the news and weather update.